I'm not. I'm not sure if anybody else is going to join us, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump in and get started. So basically, by the way, we have a handful of Axosoft people on the call as well. So there's probably more of us than there are ambassadors, but but we wanted, this is our sort of first ambassador meeting, if you will, and we wanted to make sure that we cover uh, give you guys an opportunity to reach out and talk to any one of us. So Jonathan is going to give a demo of version 6, but before we get into that, I'm going to talk a little bit about some pricing changes we're making. And then we have Lauren, who's on the call and largely responsible for the ambassador program. So if you guys have any questions about that, uh, she's available as well. And then we have a couple of the team members from the product, Manny and Justin, looks like are also on the call. So just a heads up on that. And yeah, so let's get started. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about pricing. So one of the things that we've done is that the free version of GitKraken was always created to really make the product accessible for open source projects and students especially. So that was the intent of our free product. And the way we described the GitKraken free version is by describing it as, hey, if you're using GitKraken non-commercially, you can use the free version of the product. And that created a lot of confusion because people who were like, let's say, at nonprofits or at NASA or government organizations who were getting paid for the work that they were doing were like, well, what does it mean non-commercially? Am I using it commercially if I'm working for the government? And the idea that we try to convey is that if you're getting paid to do programming, then you're using the product commercially. And it never sort of clarified it for people, and that those type of questions continue to come up. So we're changing the way we describe the free version of the program, and we're changing the functionality a little bit in that free is going to be limited to public repos, basically. And that makes sure that you can use the product for open source projects all day long, and students have access to the pro version of GitKraken through the GitHub Student Pack. So students get it for free, and they have the full-blown version of the product, and everyone using it for open source can continue to use it for free. And then we don't have to worry about this commercial, non-commercial verbiage. You can use the free version commercially or non-commercially. It doesn't matter. If you're getting paid to do open source projects, technically you're using it commercially, but that's okay. We don't mind if you're contributing to open source. So we're changing that that verbiage. But what that means, though, is that some people who are using it for personal use and opening private repos are going to now need to buy a license because they won't be able to open private repos. And for those people, especially internationally, they might be a little bit more price conscious. So we wanted to introduce a new individual plan for those people that even lowers the barrier to entry even further. So the individual plan is going to give you the ability to work with private repos, and it includes the merge conflict editor. So both of those two things make the product basically fully usable on everything, and it gives you one of the key features of Pro. But it's going to now cost just $29 per year. Now, the individual plan is going to be limited to literally just one person. So if you buy an individual plan, you can't like buy a second license to like add another user at your company. That person has to go buy their own individual if they want. So you can't do license management. And for the individual plan, we also want to not only give people the Git client the additional features of opening private repos and the merge conflict editor, but we want to give them some Glow features as well. So Glow Boards is going to have a new feature for changing background images, and that feature is only going to be available in the individual and pro plans. So you'll get that in the individual plan. So essentially, the new individual plan is going to look like this. You get the Git client, you get the merge conflict editor, and you have the ability to open private repos. And on the Glowboard side, you get the background images ability. On the account side, it's limited to a single license, and the whole thing costs $29 per year. So we're pretty excited about this plan. We think that this is going to resonate very well with people, especially people in countries that are very price sensitive. And the free continues to offer all the core features for public repos of the Git client. It offers all the core features of Glowboards. We're not taking anything away from Glow. In fact, Glow from this point forward is now both commercial, non-commercial. You can use it for free, no problem there. We want to really encourage the use of Glow going forward because we think it makes developers that much more productive, especially when combined with the Git client. And then the Pro Team or Pro/Team plan adds the ability to have multiple profiles on the Git client, adds the ability to open self-hosted repos on GitHub Enterprise or GitLab self-hosted or Bitbucket server or Azure. And then on the Glowboard sides, the Pro and Team adds the ability to have organizations and teams, which is pretty cool. Where I'm actually going to have Jonathan demo the organizations and teams feature of Glow as well, since that's a relatively new feature. And then on the account side, you'll be able to manage licenses and manage users. And of course, you get email support as well on the Pro/Team plan, and that continues to remain at $49 per user per year. And we still think that's the flagship version of GitKraken is the Pro/Team plan, but the individual plan is kind of a cool alternative for price-conscious users. And then we continue to have the enterprise version, which is for people who don't want to have an account on GitKraken.com and they have restrictions on their network. So for those users that have those kind of restrictions, and by the way, can you guys see the enterprise plan because it's blocked off with the pictures for me? Are you guys can somebody confirm that you guys can see the enterprise plan fully?
Yeah, I can see it.
I can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and if people want to, they can minimize the profile thumbnails at the top left of that kind of.
Yeah, I can't see my my mouse pointer, unfortunately, so I didn't want to fiddle around with it for now. But
yeah, if anyone else wants to move that, they can minimize it so you can see the whole slide. I might recommend that.
Yeah. So the enterprise is something that that actually has less functionality than Pro and costs more, which is counterintuitive. But the idea is that we don't really want people to buy enterprise. We want them to buy Pro. And enterprise is really for companies that have this walled restriction where they don't want any of their information on the cloud, and they want to have a self-hosted version of GitKraken. And in fact, the enterprise doesn't include the Glowboards either, because Glowboards is only a hosted version. It only comes in a hosted version of the product. So there's some additional sort of nuances there on enterprise, despite the fact that it costs more. So that's the new pricing plan. What do you guys think? Any comments, questions, concerns?
Well, I got a quick question about the private repo versus public repo.
Yes.
What about local repos where you don't have any remote origin?
I think that that is considered to be okay. So if you don't have a remote, I believe we give you the benefit of the doubt that that's eventually going to be a public repo.
Okay.
I am not 100% sure about that. Actually, Manny is on this call. Manny, can you confirm that? I'm not sure if he has access to a mic.
He's chiming in via chat. I think he might be in a discussion too in the room, but local should be.
Yeah, he just said local should be good. He said that in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions or comments, or what do you guys think of the individual plan?
I mean, I like it. It's been hard to get some of my coworkers on the Pro version because they're like, well, why would I spend, a lot of money on this product when I can just use like the free version of it? Like, why upgrade to Pro? But now I think that there's not so much of a pricing issue there, because I think some people were thinking that it was just kind of expensive, but now that it's a little bit more affordable, with still some of the Pro features, I think it could be easier maybe to convince people to upgrade to this.
Yeah. Wyatt, are you in the U.S. or another country?
Yeah, I'm in Florida, actually.
Florida. Okay, very cool. I'm kind of surprised that they would have thought $49 is an expensive product, but just paying for it in general might be a barrier to entry. But that's good feedback for sure. You guys want to jump right into the demo for version 6?
Actually, I just had one more quick thing about the pricing.
Shoot.
Actually, a couple people that I've talked to have actually asked if y'all had any type of monthly pricing plans.
Yeah, what's crazy is that I'll share this slide here. So if we look at the pricing on a monthly basis, individual is $2.42 a month, and Pro is $4.08 a month, and those prices are so cheap that like even if we were to charge more, let's say we charged $4 for individual and $6 or $7 for Pro. It's so inexpensive that it's not worth having a charge every single month. And there's like so much overhead per charge. There's roughly about a 50-cent overhead per charge, just from a credit card transaction fees and such. So, when you're talking about...
I understand that. The people that I was talking to regarding that, they're like coming from every cent counts, and like, okay, well, I'm going to have ramen noodle for lunch today so I can, afford to do this tomorrow type of thing. So spending, $50 in one, drop, they're like, that's a hard pill to swallow. So maybe something like that would be a little easier for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we're actually considering reintroducing a monthly plan. But what might end up happening is monthly plans might end up being expensive enough to justify the overhead of the monthly recurring charge.
There are some things that I pay for on a monthly basis, even though I know that over the course of a whole year, it costs more than if I were to pay for it outright. But I look at it as, well, if at any point in time I want to stop using this, I have the ability to, and I'm not out that entire bit.
Well, if we had a like $6 per month or $7 per month Pro version, do you think that would be inexpensive enough to where the monthly would be attractive?
I wouldn't think that it, I think that it'd be fine. Personally.
We might actually do something like that. We're at a point where that kind of experimentation might make sense. So that's good feedback. Very cool. Anything else before we jump into the product demo? Awesome. It looks like we got a few more people on the call too. I finally got a chance to see all of you guys. So hi everybody who joined. All right, let's Jonathan, you want to take over and show them what's new in version 6?
Got it. I will unmute myself. Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan, head of support, and I'll be showing you what's new with version 6.0. So this is great. Nice little sneak peek. I'm going to share my screen. So do you see GitKraken loading now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the old version, right?
It's the old version, right? I'm giving you a comparison point. So this is how it is right now, right? So it takes a little while to load up VS Code. Let's count it up. And then, all right, for comparison point, I'm going to kill this one. And let's see how the startup time compares with version 6.0. So you'll notice that we have a nice, beautiful keef. We have VS Code, and it loads right up as well. So one of the key things that we did is we improved performance for startup time. So it's just about 2.3 times as fast when you're using VS Code as a comparison point. And we also improved some of the other behaviors which I'll be going through, namely opening a repo and reopening a recent repository as well. Let me show you what I mean by that as well. So let me try let's just open a new repo. So I'll open the support docs and get in version 6. So there it is right there. Versus if I go and try to reopen that repository, VS Code again, it's instant. And to kind of give you a comparison point, I'll relaunch GitKraken and kind of give you a comparison there as well. So this is the old version, that's why it took a while there. Loading VS Code. So to show you the difference, I'll load up the same repo again, support.gitkraken.com. You'll notice that there was a loading icon. It didn't take too long, but it still took a few moments. I'm going to switch back to VS Code again in the upper left corner. Again, you'll see the loading icon appear. It's not terribly slow, but you still notice a loading icon. So that was improved with version 6.0. So startup time hasn't been improved. Reopening a recent repo has been improved. And opening any general repo has also been improved. Any questions about that?
Everything has been improved.
Everything.
Those are just a few examples of timings, but yeah, everything's been improved.
So I have a question with that. What method did you guys use to benchmark the improvements in performance?
Like stopwatch? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like how did you measure that it was like 2.3 times faster or something like that?
Oh, right. So if something takes, for example, 10 seconds before and it takes 5 seconds now, that's 2 times faster, right? You take the old time divided by the new time.
Oh, okay.
And we tried, it's like an experiment, right? You use the same parameters for the same repos, and you just compare apples to apples with just a few. In this case, the variable was a version change. Cool. So the next noticeable thing that you guys should notice when you're working with version 6 is that file history and blame is also much faster in the latest version. So to show you the comparison point, I'm going to open the old version. So this is version 5.04. And I'm going to go to the fuzzy finder here. And instead of searching commits, I'm going to just pull up history. And I'm going to search for I'm in the VS Code repository. I'm going to search for main.js, just under source. So you'll notice here that it's just taking a little while to load the repository. You might even notice the scroll bar is slowly loading bit by bit. It's still loading right now and going through and loading up the history for you. It's still going. Still going. Okay, looks like it just about finished loading. So to compare, now I'll go to staging. I'll do the same thing again. This time I'll also search for the main.js file under source. I'm going to pull up the history. And there it is. It's just about loaded. So the scroll bar is, you can immediately scroll to the bottom of your history and take a look at all the different changes that have been made for this specific file. So this is not only affecting history, it also affects blame. So you should be able to load long lists of either blame or history pretty quickly with the latest version. So that's another all-around benefit that you should see in the product. Ooh, nice feedback from the chat as well. Thanks, guys and gals. Okay, so next I'm going to show you guys a big feature, but I want to make sure I address any questions there might be. Okay, so because of these speed boosts, so this next part's really exciting. Because of these speed boosts, we're able to introduce a new feature for you all. You might have already seen it, a sneak peek from before, but we are introducing tabs to GitKraken. So here in the upper left corner, you see that I have this plus icon to add a new tab. When I click on it, you'll be taken to the new tab view. So this has been reworked from the home screen that you may be familiar with when you close a repo out completely in the existing version of GitKraken. But we've reorganized things a bit for you. So opening, cloning, and starting a repository is now over here on the left. And you still have the same actions to start initialize a repository up on GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, or Azure DevOps. It's just over here on the left. And what we've given more real estate for is your recent repos, your favorite repos. Those are now much more easily accessible here from the middle of the menu. You can also customize, quickly jump to preferences or manage your profiles here from the midsection right here. So let's jump here. Okay. So, and then over here on the upper right corner, we have the option to open a Glow tab. So I'm gonna actually click this one right here. I'm gonna open Glow. And so here I have the option to, just jump straight into Glow. I have a board ready to go here as well. And let's also open just a few repo tabs. So I'll open support, and then I'll also open this fork repository. So because of the performance changes that we've made, switching between these repos is much faster, right? Like I can click a tab, jump to Glow, switch between different Glow boards. It's all here. And then yes, you can drag and drop them to rearrange. You can close them out completely if you don't need to work on that anymore. And some of the keyboard shortcuts are similar to what you might be familiar with Chrome. So we do have a keyboard shortcut to add a new tab. So let me see here, Command Control T.
It's just Command T or Control T.
Or Control T, thank you. I was added extra. So that one was to add. Command W will close it. And then if you're using a mouse, the middle click, I have a trackpad here, but if you have a middle click, you can use that to close an existing tab as well. Seeing lots of chat comments come in. Let me check real quick. Very nice. Yes, so the keyboard shortcuts are here for you to quickly add or remove tabs. Questions about this so far? I'll pause for a moment.
Like Shift tab and the other navigation between tabs, does it work too?
It's going to be Command T or Command W.
Command T opens the tab.
No, let's open a new one to switch between them.
It's going to be Command 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to like 9. Yeah. Or I don't know what it is on Windows, but.
Well, what about Command page up and page down to cycle through it so you don't actually have to hit the number?
I don't know if that got in. Manny, can you confirm? Oh, he says yes, you can Command Control.
Yeah, Command is common. You can Command tab to cycle. You can Command Shift tab to go back.
Right.
Because I have a bind on my mouse that does that, so it's useful.
Nice.
Now, here's a quick question also. What about having multiple tabs for different Glow boards?
So in like the first version, we decided. Yeah, so we want to support that eventually, but having multiple tabs for multiple Glow boards. But it became complicated very quickly. That so we had to address a whole bunch of edge cases that we didn't want to delay the release for. But that's most likely going to come some point down the road, as opposed to in version 6. So right now you can have one Glow tab essentially.
So and multiple windows is that going to be coming eventually as well?
That's much more complicated. So I don't want to make any promises there. So what's happening, with respect to switching tabs behind the scenes is that we're actually closing out one repo and opening another. So you can't actually have operations happening in the tab if you switch tabs. All the operations stop, it closes the repos and opens the other. And part of the reason for that is because it would become much more memory hungry, and we actually would have to re-architect the application quite a bit in order to facilitate that. So what's happening is it's similar to switching repos, essentially. Tabs is similar to switching repos, but because of how much faster we're able to switch repos now, essentially it's giving you tabs with the ability to switch repos quickly. Does that make sense, Phil?
Yeah.
So we have about 5 minutes left in the Zoom meeting, so I'm going to show a few more things. So You may also notice in the screen right here that we've reworked the toolbar and we've refreshed the UI a bit. So not only do we have new UI that supports adding a new tab, but you may notice that we've refreshed just the way we display the repository and branch structure. We've moved the folder icon to the upper left corner, upper left corner, right next to the tabs. And probably the most key thing that we've done is profiles are now more descriptive in that they show your name and email address, just so it's a little bit more, it's clear which profile you're currently on. The best feature of this is that if you do switch between profiles, now that we have tab support, when you switch repos, GitKraken will remember the tabs that you had on that profile. So when you switch profiles, you'll switch back to the tab set that you had before. So that should be really nice if you context switch pretty frequently, maybe between work and personal or different projects on your in your company. That's a really nice feature there. A couple other things. Oh, you want to jump in?
No, I'm good. Sorry.
You're good. You may also notice, so I just checked out this Banjo branch. We have moved the toast notifications because we understand that they may have blocked very useful actions here in the upper right corner. So now whenever you receive any toast notifications, I'm just doing a checkout because it's easy to generate. But they'll appear in the bottom left corner. So that was a nice quality of life thing. And then this one will also make it into the release. So if you drag and drop a branch that has merge conflicts, if we detect merge conflicts, I'm sorry, I need to do a pull request. Let me do that option. So drag and drop Banjo to Kazooie. We'll start a pull request. So you'll now get a notification saying, hey, we've detected merge conflicts. Just a heads up when you put together the pull request. So it's just additional information that you can now get from GitKraken versus having to wait, say, until you open it up in GitHub. So that was a nice feature we got in. Okay, there's just a few more minutes left. I do want to show off the Teams feature for GitKraken Glow. So for those of you who might not be familiar, let me jump over. So this is our Slack channel. So Teams were created to help alleviate a use case here with Glow in particular, and that it was really difficult for you to manage lots and lots of boards when you're part of an organization. So if someone joined your team, you had to manually add them to a team, to a Glow board. And if someone either changed teams or they left the organization completely, you had to manually go in and remove them as well. So we saw that that was just a pain point in general. So that's why we introduced organizations and teams into GitKraken Glow. So it's much easier to manage the folks that you work with. So as an example, I have Acme as an organization with a list of all my users. And then I also have a section for teams. And this is available from app.gitkraken.com. So what I'll do is I'll go to my team section here. I already have a number of teams created. I have accounting, dev, support, sales. I'm going to create one just by clicking Create Team for Glow Dev. And I'll click Create Team, and then I'll start to add some team members. So let's add Mr. Krabs. We'll add some SpongeBob, and then Sandy. All right, we're good. So when you create your teams, they'll be available in Glow. So if I were to go back to my app over here and I jump to my Glow boards, I would have access to all of, so when I open Glow, you'll notice which boards are part of an organization with this icon here in the upper, just right next to the name. And if I wanted to add a team to this board, I would just go to the cog here in the upper right corner, go to users, and then I'd have the ability to add some team members. So let's go ahead and add a team. And I'm going to add the dev team. So here we go. So when you add a team, you add all the members of a team. And because you can manage a team separately from the account site, you can add or remove team members pretty easily. Just by going into the team, you can say remove, keep Kraken, and then when you go back to the UI, that person will be removed from the team completely.
Yeah, one of the things that I've seen on some random like Reddit suggestions is somebody decompiled GitKraken and just updated Electron to have some of the Electron quirkiness, get rid of it. But sounds like now you all have done that. They don't have to do that anymore.
That's awesome. I'm always intrigued people go through those lengths to do that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We also wanted to use this opportunity while we have you guys on the call to talk about the ambassador program. If you guys have any questions about it, Lauren is also on the call, who helps manage that program for us. So if you have any thoughts, this is a good time to bring them up. If you have any questions, this is a good time as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. Great to see everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Don't all speak at once. It gets very confusing.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, how's it going? So yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything to share right now, that's okay. But I just hope everyone knows that we really, really want to hear your feedback as often, as frequently as you want to share it. We've said a couple times, we want to help improve this program, hand in hand with you. So any feedback you have, critical or otherwise, we're always welcome to, want to hear it and working to improve it. So whether that's through Slack, direct email to me right here, however you feel comfortable sharing.
So one quick thing, by the way, Jonathan demoed the organization and teams feature of Glow. How many of you guys use that, by the way? Just how many of you use Glow, first of all? I mean, you can say it with voice if I don't have video for you.
I really don't use it that often.
Okay. And Alfonso, it looked like you shook your head that you do use it.
Well, I've used it. Right now, I'm not using it because I don't have any active project.
So one of our thoughts is that we would love it for you guys to use it with a team to see how well it works and in your organization. So if any of you guys want to use organizations and teams, we'd love to give you guys a 5-user license of GitKraken Pro so that you can start playing around with Glow specifically, especially with teams. And you can just direct message Lauren on the Slack community, and she'll get you a coupon code to purchase a 5-user version of GitKraken Pro for free. So the intent there is that we want to make sure that the feature set behind Glow, but especially the organization and teams capabilities that make it that much cooler to work with. Any other questions, comments, concerns? What do you guys think of 6.0? Do you like the fact that tabs are coming?
Yeah, the performance itself is already very it's in usability levels, it's amazing.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. All right. If there's nothing else, then thank you so much, guys. This has been really good for us to be able to do a two-way communication with our community, especially the ambassadors. And thank you for being ambassadors as well. We really appreciate that. Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
You do the same.